Let's talk about the difference between a social media trend and a social media format, because there is a difference, and I think people utilize the difference.
Yes.
Because typically, when a business or influencer is trying to go viral, they will jump on the trends. But I think they need to be jumping more on the formats. I want to hear your thoughts on this, but first, let me define the two for you. A trend is a post, topic, or an idea that is hyped or popularized for a limited period of time, and that's the key. A format is a storytelling structure that is designed to work for any subject matter that lasts for years and can even last decades. To give credit where credit is due, I got these definitions while I was watching some of Brendan Kane's content on YouTube. But now I want to ask you guys, do you agree with his definitions on trends and formats? And how can influencers in business use this knowledge to create more engaging posts?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think especially like connecting influencers and trends, I feel like a lot of the stuff influencers do is that short term.
Yeah.
And that's why it blows up so fast and why they get all that, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Popularity.
Yeah. Like it all just goes so quick. But I think from like a business standpoint, you definitely want to look more long term, following formats, getting to know what formats are too, other than just the trends.
Yeah, I totally agree with what he said and how he categorized it. Follow what works, right? Follow what's always going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like from a business perspective, like trends, it may give you that short-term popularity and a little boost, but that'll fall off.
Yeah.
Like people realize, hey, their content doesn't really resonate with me. It was just that one trend.
That like one hit wonder people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think the most important thing you can do for your social media is be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I think that's the one thing that we preach here at the clinic is be consistent with your posts. And I think that just having that format, that consistency is so overlooked.
Right. It's repeatable and it'll help you be more consistent because you're not scratching your brain like, man, what do I do for this next post?
Right.
Yeah.
It's, oh, I have this format. I have the idea I want to present. It's just a matter of getting that idea presented in this format, and that's more manageable than coming up with a whole new idea.
Absolutely.
For sure. And I mean, I think like a trend could be a good way to like get your name out there, but then like having that consistency afterward to make sure people stick around and work out long term for sure.
Yep.
All right. Let's now talk about some common formats so we can get an idea of how to identify them. And we can use them to our advantage in our posts as well. First, I want to talk about a common movie format that everyone should know. It's a 3-act structure. Whenever a screenwriter is planning out how to write their story in a movie format, they always stick to the 3-act structure. Why do you think this is?
I mean, it's like the most simple structure of all time, right? Beginning, middle, end. And it's at like the very core of literally any sort of social media video out there. You have your opener, your content, and then how are you going to finish with a bang?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it works every
Exactly.
works every time.
It works.
I mean, 1, 2, 3, like it doesn't get more simple than that.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
One common social media format that I see people using are visual metaphors. In this format, creators use a simple metaphor that is eye-catching and can easily be understood to explain their content. This is one way that people can contextualize their content to intrigue a larger audience. Are there any other formats that you guys have seen on social media that have been performing well and can be used by anyone in any field?
Day in the lives.
Yeah.
Day in the lives, voiceovers, green screen. Like voiceovers are so huge right now.
They are.
It's just the clips of what are you doing? How are you getting there? Like a process of you doing something and then you talking over it.
I think voiceovers are very effective in like short form content because you get people just scrolling and scrolling. So if you can use a visual that keeps that stops the scroll, and then your voiceover is providing your content in a way that that person will engage with, I think that's the key.
I would agree.
It's like those get ready with me's, you know. Everyone wants to watch them. People love watching what people are doing today. Or like the what I eat in a days or something like that.
Yeah.
People get hooked on that structure. And I'm talking a lot about influencers, but influencer content is so transferable.
It's intriguing,
It's intriguing, but it's also something that could easily be switched over to businesses. So I think that that's something really important is if you're ever don't know what format to follow, look at what some people who are successful and look at what they've been doing. And thinking about what formats are they using and what makes them successful.
Totally agree.
One thing I like to tell people, take advantage of your competition, see what they're doing, and if it works for them, definitely make your own spin on it, but try it,
It's all about looking at what's working. So if you find a winning format that you think is performing well, then I think it's important to gather different people who have been using that format and see what they're doing different and how it affects their posts differently.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see how many views they have, and one little difference could lead to a massive change in
It's so
the
true.
reach you have.
It's so true.
So you want to find a format that you think is doing well that you can replicate, and then figure out how people are using it to encapsulate an audience.
Yeah.
And like I talk about like, you know, processes in the day in my life or what I eat in a day, and how like a good example of how you can transfer that into a business is the process of if you like are a business and you're creating something, walk through the process of how you're creating your product, and people love that.
Yeah.
And it's all about the presentation and that
Yeah.
too. Like, if you just capture one stagnant angle of the process, people aren't going to engage with that. But if you
Right.
do it, there's a way to present that in a way that would really resonate with an audience, that would keep them on your content. You could provide information alongside that too. So.
Definitely.
I'm just thinking of like I've seen this candy shop somewhere on like Instagram Reels or something, and they're like, watch us like make this candy, and they go through the whole entire thing of how they like
Yeah.
glued it up and how they knead it out and how they cut it up, and it's that process stuff. People
Yeah.
love that.
I just have like an example, like the overnight oats. It'll be like,
Yep.
watch us package up a client's like order, blah blah
Yes.
blah. They'll like put in all the stuff, and then they'll like kind of break down what each thing is, and then just kind of like promote their.
That's a
products
really
and
great
everything.
example, actually, because
Yeah.
people love that. Like, watch me package customer number, whatever.
Yeah,
and then
exactly,
they'll
yeah.
walk through how they.
That
package
kind of
it.
helps with brand rep too, because then you know a little bit more about that brand. You can kind of
Like they're
envision
trustworthy.
their whole process,
Yeah.
and it helps them gain trust.
Yeah.
So that's another way to
Exactly,
form
yeah.
your content.
I really like that example. That's a great thing to bring up.